You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on Your Loose Women Live, it's Christine Lampard, Jane Moore, Colleen Nolan, and Kelly Bryan.
On the outskirts of Frisco, I was cruising with my favorite.
Hello and welcome to your Wednesday Loose Women. Coming up, we're all very excited about this. We're playing this classic tune because we've got a very special performance from Sister Sledge a little bit later on. How good is that? Also, after one of us was victim to a shocking petty theft over the weekend, we'll be asking whether you feel safe in your own home. And she's the stepmom of 3 and soon-to-be mum of 2, taking inspiration from her own blended family for her new children's book. Kate Ferdinand joins us for a chat as well. And we're talking second-hand shopping after one woman has gone viral for a rather awkward incident involving a second-hand jacket. But are you superstitious about pre-loved items? Get in touch. Let us know your stories. First, though, Prince Harry is back in court today following his 5-hour grilling yesterday in his legal battle with the Mirror Group newspapers over alleged unlawful information gathering. One of the things he claimed was how the intensity of life under media scrutiny contributed to the breakdown of his relationship with ex-girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Jane, what do you make of this? It was an interesting day, and I've heard various views on what people thought of how he did in court. What did you make of him standing there? It's tough. No one wants to have to stand in a courtroom and be grilled.
Yeah, but he's the one bringing the case, so he's placed himself there. But what I found very interesting is that up to now, Harry has obviously written his book, he's done his TV show, he's done sort of various interviews with sympathetic people, talking about how he feels and what he believes. And all of that's fine if he wants to do that. But when you get into a court, it's not about what you feel and what you believe, it's about evidence. And at the moment, there's a very interesting clash of those two things because I'm not actually hearing much evidence at the moment. Every sort of thing he's complained about is being very skillfully knocked down by the Mirror Group's barrister. So going forward, I don't know. I mean, I understand there's a incredible resentment there towards the media, and you know, and throughout his life he has had a lot of media attention. No one can argue against that. Saying it broke down his relationship, I mean, they were together 6 years. It may have just been that they were young people and they wanted different things, and she's married somebody else now and had a child. But I do see constantly that young boy who is traumatised by his mother's death, which I totally understand. But I think he's pouring it, rather than dealing with it, he's pouring it into this sort of campaign against the mainstream media, which, by the way, isn't like that at all now. If it was a campaign about social media and what you see online, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a lot worse now than what you see in the mainstream media, I would get it. But, you know, as Nelson Mandela, as we know, spent 27 years in prison. He said, as I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison. And I would urge Harry after this, because it's costing hundreds of thousands, to deal with the trauma.
But I think for me, I think for me, and I agree with what you're saying in so many ways, but I also think it's a young man from a very young boy fighting for justice for what he thinks happened to his mum. And I get that, you know, she's not here.
Thinks.
Well, we kind of all know. a lot of what he does.
No, there's
and
been
he does blame a
two
lot of the...
inquiries that didn't come to that conclusion.
Yeah, but there's also been lots of lawsuits that go against what we all believe anyway. You know, they always find a way out of it, in my opinion, a lot of the times. And I just think as a young boy, he's carried that. He's lost his mum and he's blamed those people for it. And maybe he's just fighting for the justice of that because she's not here to do it herself.
But, fighting... I get all of that, but fighting for justice of something that's in the past and applying it to some...
Yeah, but...
It's a court of law is not a place to, vent your emotions about a very traumatic
Yeah, but Jane, it's still happening now. They came out of an award ceremony and the same chase ensued in New York in a very crowded, unsafe city. You know how New York is structured. And the same thing happened to, it's almost like a repeat
But did
of
it?
history.
There's been so many... I mean, listen, they were at a public event. They came out of the public event. This is in America, where actually it's very different here to the media. We're not allowed to chase people anymore. So it's completely different jurisdiction. But sometimes it's like, so what if they get a picture of you sitting in your car? Why drive off and treat it as this big sort of surprise when you've come out of a public event?
But that wasn't the case here. But I think
big city, and the New York mayor said there wasn't a 2-hour car chase. So
good for the New York mayor, but that was their experience.
That's their feeling.
Yeah, I understand.
Where's the evidence?
But equally, Jane, if your feeling leads you to having mental health challenges and to the point where you feel that your relationship has been faltered because of the outside influences that have happened around you, because of the press intrusion, and you have a right to do something about that, and that's why he's going to court.
I was saying he shouldn't campaign, but court of law is not a place for feelings, it's a place for evidence.
Understood. I understand your point, and my point is...
Yeah.
I understand your point, but my point, which you've had time to say yours, my point is that he has the right to go through that, and if he doesn't bring the evidence, fair enough, but he has the right to have this say.
Let's talk about love.
We need to let those two go to court tomorrow, and it'll probably get sorted out quicker. To be fair, I put it to you, is right. But he does talk about his relationship with Chelsea Davy breaking down and the baggage that came with him into a relationship, into every single relationship, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Like this baggage term, and I would guess most of us enter into every single relationship where we're probably not 17 and we're with that person for the rest of our lives and everything's been plain sailing. There's always some baggage that will cause some sort of issue. Do you feel that way, Kelly? At what point, like referring to Harry and Chelsea, clearly she goes in knowing everyone's going to know about my life here. How do I deal with this? The pressure of who you are. Have you been in that position where you think, OK, I need to be straight about what life is here. I need to find out what your life is. And if I can deal with your baggage, never mind you dealing with mine.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you're going into a new relationship because, no one wants to find out about skeletons in the closet later on down the line when there's children involved or you've given your heart to that person. As much as can be disclosed up front, I think is best. So for me, when I enter a new relationship, I do want to know what the person's intentions are, what their family's like, what their parents are like, because they're all going to become a part of your family. You're going to become one big blended family, and your parents are going to become my children's grandparents. So I'd like to know who they are, who your friends are, what they're like.
Is this on the first date, Kelly?
Not on the first date, no. Not on the first date.
Bit scary.
But literally, but what's lovely about online dating is that you can disclose quite a lot of that up front so that people know what they're getting. You can say, like in my situation, I'm a Christian, so maybe you won't be getting it on the first night. All of those kinds of things.
I'm not a Christian and they still won't be getting it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But I don't believe in sex before marriage, so there were lots of things to kind of consider. I had lupus, and at the time I was told I couldn't have children. I wanted that person to know up front, this is what you're getting. And if you still want to, move on down the line with me, then at least you know.
It cuts to the chase, I guess, early on, if you're willing.
It depends on the time of life, doesn't it? I think when you're young, you just think, do I fancy you? End of story. But when you're older, and as you say, with kids and stuff like that, and you've all got stuff going on in your life, you then have to kind of look at how that person's going to fit into your life and vice versa.
Yeah, and when there's children involved, I know certainly when I met Frank and he had the girls who were only 4 and 2, the same age that mine are now, and they're 18 and 16 now, when I think how grown up they've become. But I was very, very conscious of that, and it was almost a year really before I was introduced to them, and that was a thought through process because we both wanted to know that we were right and that, you know, we had a future. Of course, anything can happen, but I felt a year was a good chunk of time. We go, I do like you, and I know you like me, and we're in this for the long haul.
God, you're all so sensible.
I know. But, you know, actually, it was because of that I was really aware of it, because I thought, I don't want to come into these little girls' lives or them into mine, and then suddenly, oh, Daddy has a new friend, or bye-bye, and I didn't feel comfortable with that either, and I did my best to try and do right by all parties, and it is a big thing to
But then I think if you get to know someone before you've discussed all of the things, your checklist, when you get to know someone and then you fall in love, isn't that part of loving someone? That
so you think love can conquer all baggage?
Oh, are you calling me old baggage? Yeah, to a degree. I think if you really, truly love each other, then you are willing to take each other's and deal with it together. Or is that just me being horribly romantic?
No, it's not. It's lovely. And I think that does work for a lot of people.
Says the woman that's divorced twice.
It's because you're a hopeless romantic. It's nothing. That's nothing bad at all.
I just got rid of the baggage.
Well, there you go. Is that a good start to the show for you, audience?
Yeah, I thought it
might
now.
be. Well, still to come. We're going to be covering everything from petty crime to second-hand shopping. And after the break, Kate Ferdinand will be here telling us all about life in a blended family with her husband Rio, and why the two have ditched their no kissing rule in front of the kids. It's gone. She'll be back after this. Sister Sledge will be performing for us a little bit later on. We're very excited to hear some of their classics, playing them throughout the day. It's good, isn't it?
Great.
We like it. And from the wholesome and heartwarming to the weird and wacky, we're talking spooky second-hand shop finds a little bit later on. First though, competition time now, and your chance to win £110,000 just in time for your summer holidays. Very impressive. Josie Gibson is live for us today. She's in sunny Wiltshire. Look at you. How are you, Josie?
I'm really well, thank you, ladies. Good afternoon to you guys, and I love the crowd there. Woohoo! We all like a woohoo, and I'm going to give you a woohoo for this competition because we're giving away £110,000 totally tax-free. It's going to go straight from our bank account straight into your bank account, yours to spend on whatever you like. And just think of the adventure that you could have with that sort of money. Like the adventure I'm on today, and I'm going to be on this adventure for the next 3 days. I'm on the Kennet and Avon Canal. This is my skipper, Dave. This is the boat that we're taking. Dave, what can I look forward to?
Well, hopefully some more of this wonderful Wiltshire weather, some lovely scenery, and the chance to amble along the canal at 4 miles an hour.
It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
Lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
And I like the fact you don't do anything in a rush. 4 miles an hour, that'll
nice
suit me.
and slow, yep.
We've got to go through that lock in a minute, and we're going to go down. And Dave, can we try and find a nice country pub?
I think we've got one of those on the plan for tomorrow, Josie.
All right, then. We're going to try and find a nice country pub on the Kennet and Avon Canal. You pick up the phone and get the entry in. Remember, lines close this Friday at 3 p.m, so you haven't got long. Here's all the details. Good luck.
For another chance to win, text cash to 88333. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 783333. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY18 PO Box 7 558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close this Friday at 3 p.m.
Just imagine all the things that you could do with £110,000 sat in your bank account. That's like having every month just over £9,000 every month for one whole year. The adventures would be endless. Now, I've got to open this lock up now for my little boat. Don't really know how to do it, so I'm going to put a bit of welly behind it and just use my bum. Good luck, ladies. Good luck, everybody. It's not going anywhere, actually.
If you need us to come and help you, Josie. That's not going anywhere. Thank you so much, love. Oh, that's
More
brilliant.
junk in the trunk than that.
Thank you, Josie. We'd love that holiday. Wouldn't that be
I'd
great?
love to go on one of them.
I'd love to as well.
Really would, yeah.
So our next guest is already a busy mum of one and stepmom to three, and she's just weeks away from welcoming another addition into the family. Now she's hoping to guide other blended families with her brand new children's book. Please welcome Kate Ferdinand.
Take it easy. I've got heels on. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Oh, you look absolutely
Delicious.
That is
you.
neat.
Gorgeous.
Little
Neat.
bumps.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Oh, how are you feeling?
Can I tell the truth?
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit tired. And the baby's breech, so she's kind of digging in the ribs and kicks in the bladder. But apart from that, I'm okay.
Other than that, you're fine.
And like you said there, we know that now, a big excited moment in the whole household, wasn't it, when you found out it was a little girl?
So, well, Tia was over the moon.
Yeah.
So excited. I feel like she's been praying for a little girl. So, we're very outnumbered with the boys.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's a bit more female energy in the house.
Yeah, that's so lovely.
Well, look, another big proud moment tomorrow. Your new book, The Family Tree, is out, Kate. It's something I know you feel very proud of because it's the sort of book you were looking for when you were trying to read to the children and it wasn't quite there and you thought, I'm going to write it myself.
So excited. I mean, it's a bit of a funny subject, isn't it, saying Daddy's brought home a girlfriend. And I just couldn't find the right book for us when we started our journey. So it's a really magical story about fairies that live in a tree and Daddy brings home a lady and they're not really too keen on her at the beginning, which I suppose is really normal, kind of like our story. But by the end of the story, they bake a cake and they mix their mum's mixture, who isn't there anymore, their mixture and a little bit of the new ladies, and it creates a really nice cake.
Oh,
so,
lovely.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different types of blended families, isn't there? I mean, you're obviously dealing with the blended family of a mum who isn't around anymore, who died. But then there's other blended families that they're dealing with, maybe where a relationship ended in a very dramatic, sort of fractious way, and that's a whole other different thing to deal with.
There's so many different types, and at the moment I can only speak for myself, but I'm hoping it's a magical tree, and if this one goes well, we might be able to tell lots of different stories of different types of blended families throughout the tree.
And so you're obviously, you said you were dealing with a little bit of mum guilt because obviously you've got baby on board and then you still got to be a mum for the children as well. So how is that balance going? You can tell the truth, it's fine.
Some days I feel like I'm mum. Like today's been a good mum day.
Yeah.
I woke up, I'd done smoothies and eggs, and I was feeling really good. Yesterday was not a good one, and it's hard to balance. I've got to be honest. Sometimes I just don't get the balance right, but I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself.
Well, because I think every mum, we've talked about it here loads, haven't we? I think you have mum guilt all the way, from the time they're born, really, and no one really explains that to you before you have a baby, do they? But, I mean, my eldest is 34 and I still feel guilty every day.
Oh, God, I've not got much hope then, have I?
That's just the way it turned out, you know what I mean? But, could have done better. Never mind.
And I say you've got your stepchildren, 17, 14 and 12, so you've got a couple of built-in babysitters there as well.
They're unbelievable with Cree, who's 2 now. It's so special to see them together, so... hopefully they'll be good babysitters.
It's a gorgeous book, actually.
It is a beautiful book, The Family Tree, like I say, and it's out tomorrow. And I know it is a real proud moment for you, Kate. It just shows you how far you've come, I guess, as well, because, and we sort of touched on it earlier, we're talking about baggage and when you get into a relationship, the various sort of roads that you have to navigate. And certainly being a step-parent, and I, as you know, I'm speaking from experience, no one grows up at school saying, I want to be a step-parent when I grow up. It's not a conversation that's ever had until you're in it. And then suddenly you have to navigate the best way around children, you, your partner, and sometimes it's easier than others. It's as simple as that, isn't it? And the book sort of tries to touch on all of those little things, really.
In a kid-friendly way,
In a very kid-friendly way.
That it's okay.
Throwing a bit of fairy dust in never does any harm.
And it's okay if you're not too excited. If a new lady comes along or a new man, I think it's important to be realistic. But, I mean, when I was growing up, all I saw was evil stepmums. So I think it's nice to kind of change that narrative.
And you have to earn it, don't you, with kids? I think. You know, a lot of people say, oh, how, like when with my stepdaughter, they were like, how did you make her like you? And it's like, well, you don't. You just have to earn it with kids.
Yeah.
You just have to show up, I suppose, and be
Yeah.
consistent, I would think. Yeah.
So you're a million miles from the only way is Essex, aren't you? Like, you've come a very, very long way. Can I ask how you and Rio met?
That feels like a lifetime ago.
I bet.
Yeah, it feels like a whole nother dimension. We met on holiday in Dubai on the beach.
Oh.
I was out there with some of my friends and he was there with some of his family and yeah.
Oh, how lovely.
And how's this pregnancy been? Has it been very different to your other one?
I feel a lot more... I've enjoyed this one more because I'm grateful to be pregnant, but I don't love being pregnant. I'm at the stage now where I'm really ready for her to come.
Yeah.
But actually, I've been a lot busier, so I haven't been as, you know, like achy, and I've just been getting on with it. You've got a toddler to run around after, so you don't think about it as much, I suppose.
I've got a confession about Rio.
Oh, God, no, what are you going to say?
Just prepare yourself. So, when I was married, he was a mad Leeds supporter, like insane, and I bought a golden cocker spaniel, and he called the dog Rio.
But that's better than what I thought you were
And
going to
then,
say.
no, it gets worse. And then Rio left, didn't he? And went to Man United. And my husband wouldn't call the dog by its name. Changed it to Cleo.
How funny.
So, yeah. So I'm just laying that there. You can tell him when you get home.
I'll let him know.
There was many rows in my house over the cocker spaniel.
Oh, good. Well, Kate, it's great to see you looking so well. Baby, it's next month, isn't it? It's the big day, so not that long away. You're doing very well in your heels at this stage. Thank you so much for coming in. The family treat's out tomorrow. And send our love to everybody back home.
Thank you.
And best of luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ferdinand. So to come after one woman went viral for finding an unexpected note in a second-hand coat. We're going to be talking about our own bizarre second-hand finds. And after the break, one of us was victim to a petty crime over the weekend. So we're asking whether you feel safe on your own doorstep and what more can be done to protect neighbourhoods from petty crime. All of that coming up after the break. See you in a bit.
After her husband Derek's life was devastated by COVID, everything changed for Kate Garraway and her family.
This is the reality.
Now Kate joins us to talk about how love and the power of hope is giving them all the strength to rebuild their lives. And she'll be sharing some very special news. Kate Garraway, tomorrow on Loose Women.
Welcome back to your Wednesday, Loose Women. As you can see, I've got all my sisters with me today. I know. Keeping you company for the next half hour. It's Colleen Nolan, Kelly Bryan, Jane Moore and me, Christine Lampard. Thank you very much. Still to come, we've got a very exciting performance of this classic track from Sister Sledge. Very excited about that. And we're also going to be talking spooky second-hand finds after one woman picked up more than she bargained for at her local shop. Now, though, we're going to be talking crime after shocking statistics revealed that police have failed to solve a single burglary in nearly half of the areas in England and Wales for the past 3 years. Extraordinary figures, in fact, Jane. And this is something that has hit you just at the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of life, it's a very small thing, but for me, it's sort of like indicative of life at the moment, particularly in our big cities. I was loading up the car with some stuff to take to storage because we're in the middle of moving house, and my mum has this little set of china that she's collected all her life. It's people might know it. It's like Ainsley china, and it's like little ceramic bouquets of flowers, and those are each one of every month of the year. And she's collected them painstakingly over 50 years. So I'd wrap them all up in newspaper to protect them and put them in the box. And my car was literally right outside my front door, and I put it on the back seat of my car, closed the door, went in to go and get something else, but didn't lock it. Came out 2 minutes later, gone. Gone. Just some sort of opportunistic thief. And, you know, I just think it wasn't worth a lot, but sentimentally it was. And it's like, that's not the point. It's like, that's our stuff.
Yeah.
And I just sort of feel now that, you know, you look at these neighbourhood apps that we're all on, and sometimes I have to spend days where I have to come off them because everybody is going, we've had a parcel nicked from my doorstep, my car's been stolen, 2 lovely plant pots that I'd put outside gone. And it's just like this level of petty theft, and you think, and the police just aren't interested. And I get it, you know, the police officer on the ground, they've got so much to do, so much serious crime to deal with. But it does as a kind of a law-abiding citizen in a neighbourhood, you do sort of feel abandoned. And then it makes me think about, nostalgically about, as a kid, I would leave my bike outside the house, no lock was needed. Yeah. My bike now, I won't cycle anywhere unless I can take it inside at the other end because they can freeze the locks off.
But I met someone outside here yesterday and we got talking and she was saying she just moved here to the apartments here because the house she was in, her and her husband, had been burgled twice in less than 2 weeks. And when she phoned the police 4 days later, they said, oh, no, we shut that case down. And she said, why? And they said, because there's no point. Who are we looking for? We don't know who we're looking for. And she felt really let down. And I've had it happen to me in a previous house where I spoke to the policeman and he said, look, even if we find them, they get a £20 fine and a slap on the wrist. Yep. And we've had to do a week of paperwork. It's that needs to change. It's not the policeman's fault. You know,
but it's the whole system.
It's the whole system. But unfortunately, we blame the ones that we can see there and then, which is the police.
Or not see, because they're dealing with everything else.
And I feel so sorry for them as well, because I think they must be as frustrated as we are. And they are the ones that have to say to us, even if we catch them, they're not really... There's no deterrent for them at all.
But then again, in a way, if they... And again, I'm not judging the police officers themselves. It's just the way it's structured and the way that it's dealt with. But, you know, so there's a little place called Maryport in Cumbria, and there's this PC, he's called PC Sam Steele, if we've got a picture of Sam. And he is just... He's like this one-man... I mean, this wouldn't work in a city, obviously, but he's this one-man bobby, and antisocial behaviour has dropped by almost half in that particular area. And he says, you know, it's all about walking around, being a visible presence, recognising people that we know and catching people in the act, nipping it in the bud.
But then there has to be... But for me, that's great. And well done him, and that's exactly what needs to happen. But then there needs to be consequences. There's no consequences when they catch them.
People do start to take matters in their own hands, don't they? I mean, like, for example, like Ring doorbells are a really good deterrent because you can see them, quite clearly what they're doing. It happened to my cousin who literally got a phone call saying, look, the car is down this road, it's been moved. So they were quickly able to, like, contact him. He went and the car was there. So it's kind of those proactive things. I mean, me at home,
what if the gang that stole the car was there when they go to get it? You know?
I get it.
You just think terrifying.
I get it. I mean, at home, I think obviously we've had quite a lot happen in Liverpool recently, and so I am really conscious of the children. But I've got a gate where I live, and I am really conscious about even inside the house, like just the internal doors, because I think the more, from what I've heard in terms of, security professionals, they always say the more you can do, the more hurdles they've got to overcome, the better it is for you in the long run. So they'll look for an easy target. If there is a window open, they'll go with that. So it's just looking at more deterrents. OK, so they've got a gate to get through, then I've got 2 front doors, then I've got... Do you know what I mean? They'll just weigh it up and go, actually, I'm not going to bother. Yeah, but you say that, but look at the world that we're living in right now. We've got cost of living crisis. We've got people that are driven to do things maybe they wouldn't have done before. I was speaking to a homeless guy the other day who hadn't eaten for, like, a week, and his mouth was dry. I gave him something to eat. We had a little chat, and he was saying, he doesn't actually... People don't give him any money anymore because they can't afford to. It's, and I'm not saying that condones crime. I don't condone crime. And even he was saying, I don't go out stealing or whatever because that's not me. I wouldn't do that. But people are driven to do things they wouldn't normally do because we're living in times that we haven't normally lived in.
Yeah, but most of the car thefts, I would say, are organised gangs.
Yeah.
So they're not... It's not like nobody's saying, oh, homeless people are stealing our stuff. I don't see it like that at all. But, on these neighbourhood apps, you see maybe somebody's got a car that might be, I don't know, if it's a Range Rover or something, that seems to be a very common car theft, could be 60 to 80,000 pound car, and the police go, oh, we can't do anything. And you think, yeah, but if I went into a bank and said, right, give me 60 to 80,000, I'd be in prison.
For years.
So what's the difference? I don't understand. It's still theft, property theft, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Do you feel similar, folks? Do you feel like an uneasiness? There's a general consensus? Oh, dear, it doesn't bode well. When you go... We're just saying when we go to the police.
They've showed me how to save it, and that was it.
Yeah, we're just agreeing with what we're saying, really. You do your best, you go to the police, and they don't have the resources to deal with it. It's a tough one, isn't it? Still to come today, from a thrifty find to more bizarre finds, in fact. Are you superstitious when it comes to owning something second-hand? We're revealing our most heartwarming or possibly haunted second-hand shop finds. And that's what we need. We're going to be getting thoroughly lost in music after the break. Sister Sledge are here for a very special performance of their iconic hit, We Are Family. See you soon. We're throwing it back to the 70s. Sister Sledge are performing for us in just a moment. First, though, I want your views on this. One woman picked up more than she bargained for after purchasing a rather dashing red coat at her local charity shop. All seemed perfectly normal until she found this handwritten note pinned inside the coat. It says, "Bury me in this red suit." Now, I don't think that note can be misconstrued in any other way, really. Bury me in this suit, and there we go. So what would we do with that? You see, I'm a bit funny anyway about second-hand things because I kind of feel like, was it loved by someone and why did they have to give it up? I'm always a little bit funny, but I'm saying that and I literally gave 4 massive bags of my stuff to the charity shop yesterday. But yes, with something like that, that's a confirmation that they didn't necessarily want to give the jacket up. And so there's a story to it. So would you feel comfortable wearing it?
I've got no problem with second-hand stuff and charity. I think they're brilliant, and charity shops and stuff like that. My kids live there. They get the best things. But that is such a personal note that I think I would take it back to the shop and say I can't wear that. I definitely wouldn't give it back to the family.
Well, I was going to say, so you wouldn't go about trying to track the family?
No, because they didn't do it in the first place. So what are they going to do now?
So what's the point of taking it back to the shop then?
Because someone else, I'd say take that note off and someone else will buy that jacket. But I found it with the note on. And if you take it back to the family, some of the family members might not know that whoever had that jacket gave it away.
This is why you need to make a will.
Or they might not have... I don't know. I just think it could be really painful to take that back.
I hadn't thought of that. My initial thought was I would want to find the family because
but
maybe...
they can't do it now. They're not going to
I know, but then maybe for whatever reason the person loved that coat and then they could have the coat back.
They might have read the note.
Christine, it's too late.
It is too late. I just thought it might be a nice thing.
They might have read the note and given it away anyway.
Yeah, they might have read the note and not cared.
Oh, no, this has gone very, very dark. I was just thinking about this.
No, but it's quite shocking, isn't it?
No, it is,
It's quite a shocking note.
But would you buy a house? Obviously, you're not buying a house, but would you buy a house if you knew someone had died in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me at all, but you're a bit funny, aren't you?
I think I'd be a bit funny about it. I'd kind of want to know how did they die, how old were they. I would just... I'm better not knowing. If I find out 10 years in, it's fine. But I think
how.
Yes, maybe
They
how.
died.
Yeah,
They died.
exactly. If it was some gruesome circumstance,
If it was a gruesome circumstance and you had to dig the patio up, I might be worried.
No, if there's any digging in a patio and I'm not buying it. What do you want today?
I don't know. It's because it's my last day. I'm catching a train.
I mean, I love charity shopping.
But you're very good at it as well.
I love a boot sale. I hyperventilate if I see there's a boot sale on. But what I love at boot sales, you know when some people have collected old postcards and you read and they're sort of like somebody writing from the war or from the front line to their family, and I think, oh, I really want to find that family and go, did you know that this postcard actually exists?
It's lovely. It's weird you say that, Jean, because I remember this was away in Dublin years ago, and there was it was a car boot sale, and I was exactly the same. That kind of old stuff really, really interests me. And they had broken down the counties in Ireland of black and white photographs, so I went to where my parents were from. And in this random box, I pulled out this old black and white photograph of the high street in Enniskillen, where my dad's from. And there was the butcher's shop, my grandfather's shop.
Really?
And you can see Blakely and Son written on this shop, on this random black and white old photograph that meant so much to our family. And I couldn't believe it. And there it was, meant nothing to anybody else. And it meant everything to us. So those things are, it's almost like, why was I drawn to that car boot sale that day? Why was I drawn to that box? Sometimes you think things are meant to come back to you. I believe in that.
Not bury me in this jacket, though. That wasn't ever meant to leave her, let alone get back to her. Shocking, that, shocking. I'm shocked.
You're not overly superstitious, though, are you, Kelly?
No, I'm not superstitious, but I am kind of like, you know, like, I'm a faith-based person, so, like, you know, if I felt like the vibes in a place weren't for me, I would know instantly and I would just move on. Like, if I just felt it was just wrong, there wasn't, you know...
You go with your gut.
Yeah, if the vibe of the place was saying to me, that's not the one, I'm just going to move on. I'm not even going to ask questions. I don't want to know why. I don't want to know what happened. I'm just gone.
I am moving on now because it's competition time. It's your chance to win £110,000, everybody. Has all the details. Take it away, Josie.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm about to get back on my boat and take a ride back down the Kennet and Avon Canal. The views are absolutely beautiful here. Stunning location, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without my right-hand man and my skipper, Dave. Dave, what can we look forward to on the way back?
Well, we're going to see a different view of the canal going back down towards Foxhangers. Same wildlife, same lovely peaceful countryside.
It's gorgeous.
And we're just going to amble along at 4 miles an hour.
What a stunning location for a stunning competition. I've got a quick question for you. What would you do with £110,000?
That's a difficult one, Josie, but it'd be nice trying to find out. But we might have something to do with boats and canals.
Oh, you could buy yourself a nice canal boat with £110,000.
Certainly could.
Just imagine that money in your bank account, totally tax-free, but you haven't got long on this. Lines close on Friday at 3 p.m, so you need to pick up the phone and get the entry in. Totally tax-free. Yours to spend on whatever you like. Here are all the details. Good luck.
For another chance to win, text cash to 88333. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 783333. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY18 PO Box 7 558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close this Friday at 3 p.m.
Now, our next guests have sold over 20 million records and performed all over the world. And tomorrow they are back at the iconic Royal Albert Hall. But today they are performing at an even more iconic location, the Loose Women Studio. Being here, it's wonderful to see you, and it's wonderful to know it's still all about family, isn't it?
Yes, yes. I'm so proud of my family, and I'm so thrilled to be working with them. This is the second generation Sledge here.
Incredible, incredible. I grew up listening to your music, and so for me this is a major honour to be in the same room as you guys. But what do you think has kept your music going through all of these generations?
I think it's so much fun, and I don't know, that's contagious. It keeps going.
Yes,
it keeps going.
100%.
Well, I used to tour a lot with my sisters, and we always ended our tour with "We Are Family" because we were all sisters, and we used to, and it was great. And so when I saw you, it was like, I used to dance to you every night on tour. It was fabulous. It's not a question, I just wanted to get in there. Like a fan.
And as you say, there is something special about it because it doesn't matter in what the age group, every single person in the room will know the words to every song, and that makes it incredibly special for you. And just in terms of the history of your music, it's just timeless.
It is, it is. I'm actually amazed that they were born around the time the song was coming out.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And of course you work with the great Nile Rodgers.
Yes, and he's so amazing, and we're very honored, and we feel very blessed that we were able to carry this wonderful song, this great message.
Well, we are delighted to have you here, like we say, Royal Albert Hall tomorrow night. A wonderful treat for all of your fans there. But as Sister Sledge, get ready to perform. We've just got enough time to tell you what's coming up on tomorrow's show. Kate Garraway will be popping over from Good Morning Britain as she joins us to share some very special news. But now, finishing the show on a high with their iconic hit, We Are Family. It's Sister Sledge!
Just like birds of a feather. Yeah. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Sing it, sing it. I got all my sisters with me. I got my sisters and my brothers with me. Family. Get up, everybody, and sing it up, sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me and my cousins and my. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, God, yeah. Hey, anybody want to join us? Yeah. Hey. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah. Come on and sing it with me. Family. Yeah. I got all my sisters with me. Yeah.